Stalingrad was a flop. Hey guys, Shutter here. Now, as you can tell by that intro, Stalingrad was a flop, okay? No way to sugarcoat it, it was a flop. Now, the first thing, I'm just going to have to say it, that I think Stalingrad has had a bad effect on Enlisted. And I'm just going to explain why I think it's had a bad effect, and more or less just talking about Stalingrad in general. So with that being said, let's just begin with the video. Now, first off, I'm just going to talk about what Stalingrad did well, okay? First off, it got to the point where the devs realised that the grind is a problem. In fact, I would say the reason for this perk here, Times for Experience, is the devs saying, look, we know the grind's a problem, so we're going to do something to rectify it. And I will say, if it was a paid version, maybe a bit less. Like, I've said it many times. If it was a paid version, it gave you the experience, the squad slots, the premium tanks, and the, and maybe this part, but it made it so you got level 4 and 5 soldiers, and that was it. You know, but you could still unlock level 4 or 5 soldiers, and it got rid of all of the, you know, the full access unlocks in the tech tree. It could have been arguably probably one of the best campaigns in the game. And people wouldn't have a huge issue on it. But there's a problem. They did lock stuff behind the paywall. Like level 5 soldiers, I believe, and like maxed out weapons, I believe, got locked behind the paywall. The, obviously stuff like the Panzer IIIN, the T-34, the Stuka, the, you know, the ZH-29. Just for reference, the when you get level 9, the Gavir 41, and you don't pay, this is your only semi-auto you can unlock in the game, because the only other one other than the ZH-29 and the SVT 40 is all the way here at level 25, and it's locked behind the paywall. You know, stuff like the new Korali as well. The Korali was a new weapon introduced with this update, and it's locked behind the paywall. You know, stuff like the T-3485. Originally, I think the PPSH and the MP717 were locked behind said paywall. So, it's, you know, having these stuff locked behind the paywall was huge. And it really turned people off. In fact, when Stalingrad first came out, there was people like me who refused to buy the paywall, and as a result, we didn't play Stalingrad because we would just get ruffle stomped by people who did pay, and had even though they were worse players than us, they would beat us on sheer attrition. Like, we couldn't beat them with Kar-98Ks and Mannlichers, so we decided, you know what, we're not going to play this. We're just going to play a campaign where you have to level up via actual skill, not pay. So, yeah. So it alienated quite a bit of the player base. The second reason was they actually harmed other player bases. For example, Berlin. Why would you play Berlin if you pay for Stalingrad? You're not going to play Berlin. If you don't pay for Stalingrad, you're going to play Berlin. So basically, Berlin lost out on a good portion of its player base because another good portion of the player base would play Stalingrad, and Stalingrad lost out on a good portion of its player base because the people who wouldn't pay went to Berlin. Or people just stayed in Normandy, because Normandy was much better, is a much better campaign than Berlin. Like, in terms of sheer just levels and stuff. Or if they were Soviets, they stuck to Moscow. And that was another thing as well. Like, people just stuck to Moscow and Normandy, which I would say haven't taken a hit, with Stalingrad and Berlin. Like, Berlin now is full of bots. Like, seriously, go into any Berlin match as the Soviets, and you're going to get a guaranteed win 9 out of 10 times. The only time you don't get a guaranteed win as the Soviets to that nowadays is if you get unlucky and get some demolition. Either A, get unlucky and get demolition, or B, you get unlucky and somehow run into the 5 people playing Berlin who are actually got good stats. Like, I went into a match where you know, obviously, well, I got, like, what was it, 110 kills, and no one on the enemy team, apart from one guy, got above into the double digits. Like, and, you know, and meanwhile, you know, with Stalingrad as well, it's probably the exact same there. Like, I would say you probably are the most populated campaigns at the moment on Moscow, Normandy, and Tunisia, because Berlin and Stalingrad are too similar to each other, and Stalingrad is too similar to Moscow. Like, and the thing is with that is that people are going to play Moscow. If they don't pay for Stalingrad, they're going to play Moscow, because just on the fact that they're not going to get they're going to get a lot more from Moscow than Stalingrad. So, yeah. And it's also thrown into another thing, is that people have stopped playing the game because they believe Stalingrad is... Like, Stalingrad had the effect of people... Literally, I have people in my comments saying, oh, the game's now paid to win, look at Stalingrad. Right? People legitimately claimed as Stalingrad as the reason the game went paid to win. Like, now, do I believe the game has gone paid to win? No. I don't believe that, because, you know, like I said, like I always say, yes, premium does decrease the grind, but premium squads are useless. You know, I still say premium squads are quite useless. And, I mean, in Normandy, they got rid of the best ones, so... Yeah. And then there are a couple of premium squads which are okay, but for the most part, 9 out of 10 premium squads are useless. And it is better to just use the soldiers in the tech tree. It's better to use stuff like this squad here, or this squad here, which, you know, just for reference, this is the starting squad for Axis Normandy. Or it's better if I'm just going to use the, this is a better example. It's just better to use these 4 squads here, for example. Now, what is the, now, again, what has this had for the future of Enlisted? Well, the problem is that people are really unsure about the next campaign, because they don't want another Stalingrad situation. Like, Stalingrad was, honestly, has been the biggest flop, because you've also got people like me, by the way, as well. I haven't even touched on the people who've literally boycotted Stalingrad. Like, many people have boycotted Stalingrad, myself included, because we just don't want to play Stalingrad, because well, mostly because of the pay to win stuff, because of the pay to essentially play, and people have had problems, like me, have had problems with that on a moral level, so we're just avoiding Stalingrad. And it's, you know, it's gotten to the point, you know, people just don't want to play Stalingrad anymore. Like, I generally just don't know what to say about the game anymore. Like, it's, I mean, what can you say about it? Anyways, I'm going to end this video here. There's not really much to say about Stalingrad, actually. Like, it has probably flopped, and it's done more damage, not only just to the game, but it's also inadvertently hurt other campaigns. And, you know, I would say Berlin's dry period is because of Stalingrad, because people are less intrigued to play Berlin. Berlin was already quite I would say a lackluster campaign, but now the only people who play Berlin are people like me who like it. And even then, I'm starting to play Moscow more than Berlin. Yeah, I'm just gonna end the video here. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave your thoughts in the comments, what you guys think about, about this, and I'll see you guys in the next